Hi, everyone, and welcome to our online classroom tonight. I'm so glad you're able to come back. I'm Rebecca Sija, Instructional Specialist with Richmond Public Schools. So today we are going to be extending our lesson on adding up to 100. And if we have time, we will get to practice a little more with our subtraction as well. So real quick, if you have a second, I need you to go and get a piece of paper, any kind of piece of paper is fine, and a pencil to write with. And if you have a calculator, that would be great. You can always pull a calculator up on your phone or ask a family member if maybe you can use their phone. Okay, so are we all back? We have our paper and pencil. All right, very good. So let's take a quick look at our PowerPoint and let's look at our place values one more time. We know that the far right is our ones column. Next to that is our tens. So this is 6 tens. And right beside that are the hundreds. So this is 3 100s. And our next and fourth column in is the thousands. And this is 5 1000s that equal 5,000. All right, now let's look at our vocabulary for addition. Let's remember that all together, add, sum, combine, increase, total, and in all. Those are some of our important words for addition. And if we have time to get to subtraction, let's review those. Take away, minus, equal, solve, less, difference, and remain. Very good. All right, ready to go? Let's go ahead and we'll just start that back at the beginning, but let's go to our lesson. And let's close this down just so we can see our screen a little better. And we will move this up just a bit. All right, Randy is sorting items into piles at the bank for the bank teller. He sorts 68 money envelopes and 21 loan applications. How many items does Randy sort into piles altogether? He sorts 68 money envelopes and 21 loan applications. Now remember, we don't always have this provided for us, so we need to know that we're looking for the numbers. So here it's 68, 21, and all together. So that tells us we're adding. So today, instead of doing many different ways, I want you to think of how it's best for you to do this. So all of us, we need to write down our math problem. We need to write 68 plus 21. And remember, it's very important that we keep all of our columns very close together. We keep them lined up properly. Now, if you already know that 8 plus 1 equals 9, fantastic. If you need to make your hash marks, definitely do that. So we can make 8 hash marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1 for the 1, and we can count those all together. And how many do we have in all? Correct, we have 9, right? And now we're going to move to our tens column, and we're going to add 6 plus 2. Now we can use our fingers just quietly under the desk where no one knows. We can draw our hash marks. We can draw 6 hash marks for 6 and 2 for the number 2, right? And then we can add those together and we get 6, 7, 8. And our answer is 89. Very good. And then, of course, we can always check on our calculator, clear off our number, and we have 68 plus 21 equals 89. Very good. We put in 9 and 8. Excellent. Here we have Miss B's class is counting items at the bank. They count 41 coins. wrappers and 35 deposit slips. How many items do they count all together? How many do they count all together? That's another key word. Now, what are our two important numbers that we're seeing? What are our two numbers? 41 and 35. Very good. So let's look at our math problems. In our ones column, we have 1 plus 5. 6. Very good. And then we have 4 plus 3. Now, if you need a little help, you have strategies. You can draw your 4 dots and your 3 dots. Add those up. You can draw your hash marks. Add those up. You do what's best for you. What is our answer? 7. Very good. So then we always double check it with our calculator, right? So we have 41 plus 35. 41 plus 35 equals, did we get 76? We did. Very good. Okay, let's move to our next one. Randy is sorting items into piles at the bank for the bank teller. He sorts 51 money envelopes and 18 loan applications. He has many items. How many items does Randy sort into piles all together? So we have 1 plus 8 equals 9. Very good. And where's our 9? Excellent. And then 5 plus 1. Choose your way on how you would like to solve that. Did we think of how we want to solve that? Have many different ways, right? So what is our answer? 6. Very good. Okay, then we can always go right into our calculator and we can check our work. Let's clear that. And we're adding 51 plus 18. And we look at our story problem and there's 51 money envelopes and 18 loan applications. We always hit clear on our calculator, even if there's a 0 there. 51 plus 18. You have it all in? Good. Hit equal. 69. Is that our answer? Indeed, it is our answer. Very good. All right, let's move forward. Now we've gone to our story problems being horizontal. They're no longer up and down, they're going across. And it is always important that we rewrite these to being up and down, but what's important? Who can tell me? You can ask a family member. When we change these and we write them vertically, up and down, we have to make sure we line up what? Yes, we need to make sure we line up our ones column and our tens column. So let's go ahead and let's write out 45 plus 53. But have we read our story problem yet? No, we haven't, so let's not jump ahead. Let's go ahead and read our story problem. Randy is unpacking items from a box at the bank. He unpacks 45 and lollipops, and he unpacks 53 money envelopes. How many items does Randy unpack from the box all together? Right? So that's our cue that we're adding, even though they have shown us that already. So now let's carefully line up our ones and our tens. And if it helps you to make like a T, you put your ones on one side and your tens on the other, you can definitely do that. So it would look like this. Kind of helps you keep them all nice and lined up. And another thing you can use is graph paper. You know those papers that have the blue lines on them that make lots of little squares? Graph paper. And you put one number in each of the squares, helps you really easy keep everything nice and organized. All right, so we have 5 plus 3 in our ones column. So we can do that a few ways. We can say 5, we can put up 3 fingers. We can say 5 because that's our top number. 5, 6, 7, 8, right? We can count up. Or we can make our hash marks for each of the numbers. And we can add those together, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 ones. Now you solve how you're going to add the tens. You make your decision. Do you want to count up? Do you want to make your hash marks? What's best for you? You can ask a family member. You're all set? All right. I chose to make my hash marks. So now I'm going to add my hash marks together. I'm going to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 hash marks all together. So a 9 is actually going in our tens column. So now what is our number? Our number is 98. Excellent. So we go to our answer, and our ones column is an 8, and in our tens column is a 9. So our answer is 98. Okay, let's go to our calculator, double check our work. We have 45 plus 53 equals 98. We got our answer. Very good. All right, let's make that a little bit bigger. Sometimes they come in so small. All right. Miss B's class is stacking items into piles at the bank. They stack 80 deposit slips and 10 loan applications. How many items does the class stack into piles altogether? There's our answer. There's our keyword again. So our numbers are 80, 10 altogether. Correct. We're going to add. Even though we see that here, it's important to use our language. So 80 plus 10. What is the first thing we're going to do? This is a vertical math problem. What's the very first thing we're going to do? Yes, we're going to write it. It's horizontal, and we're going to write it vertically. So remember that you can always make your T mark to help you keep it in order. Just like this. And we know that we have 80 plus 10. I bet you're going to do this very fast without any strategies other than adding. What is 0 plus 0? If you have no candy and no candy, and you add no candies together, you still have no candy, 0. And then if you have 8 candies and someone gives you one more, right? We say 8, 9. Very good. So our answer is, what is our answer? 90. Very good. So we go here. 90. Excellent. All right. We're still vertical. There is one that has, let's subtraction. No, we don't want to get into borrow. Now, in the next lesson, we are going to get into borrowing. So be prepared for that one. We won't tax you with that tonight. So here is our very last problem for the evening. Randy is unpacking items from a box at the bank. He unpacks 30 lollipops. He unpacks 24 money envelopes. How many items does Randy unpack all together? So I want you to go ahead and I want you to set up your story problem, or go ahead and set up all of your numbers. What's the first thing that you're going to do? What's the very first thing you're going to do to help keep your line straight? What will you do? Yes, you're going to make your T mark. You ready? Make your T mark. Okay, first number on top is, tell a family member, 30. Good. And then your number on the bottom is 24. And our vocabulary told us we are what? All together. What are we doing with 30 and 24? Adding. Make our addition sign. So here again, pretty straightforward, right? We have 0 plus 4. And in the tens column, we have 3 plus 2. So if you have 0 candies and someone gives you 4 candies, how many candy do you still have altogether? You have 0 candy, someone gives you 4 candies, how many do you have altogether? 4. So you bring your 4, write your 4 in your, what column? Ones column, good, because that's 4 ones. And then we look at our tens column and we have 3 plus 2. So we have 3 plus 2. 3 tens plus 2 tens. So we can say 3, put up 2 fingers and count up 4, 5. Or what else could we do? We could make our hash marks, right? Or if you just know that 3 plus 2 is 5, we can write our 5. So how many altogether? 54. Nice job. $54. So of course we'll double check in our calculator. We always clear it even if we see a 0. We put in 30 plus 54 equals, oh, I put in a wrong number, because does that match? No. So let's clear and let's do again. 30 plus, and I remember saying 54 instead of 24 equals, now we match. Excellent. Very good. Very good. It's 54. All right. Thank you for spending time with me today. Remember that we're always looking for those key words in our addition and in our subtraction that help us remember how we solve a story problem. Now, I challenge you, as I have in the past, I would like for you to think of how many story problems you solve all throughout your day and kind of jot those down, and you will see that story problems are just simply everyday life. Thank you for being with me. Please stay safe and stay healthy. Enjoy the beautiful weather. And if it's a rainy day, just enjoy resting. Thank you so much. Public schools, and we're very glad that you were able to join us. Now, in our last math lesson, we began to work on subtraction. And so today we're going to extend that lesson a bit by looking at our subtraction problems as vertical. So as you notice on our document here, you see that our numbers are beside each other. And let's see how we do and how do we begin to switch so we make it a little bit easier to complete our work. So before we get into our lesson, let's take a look at some key subtraction words that are going to help us in our problem. So let's look at place values. Remember before we talked about how your place values tell you how much each number is worth. So your very first number on the right is in the ones column. And so that's worth one of each, however many that number is. So if it's 9, then it's 9 ones. Your next column is the tens column. So we have 6 here, but it doesn't mean 6 as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It actually means 60. Counting by tens, we would say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then 60. Then our next place value over is the hundreds. So this is the equal of hundreds. It would be 3 100s. And then a very large number of 5 being in the thousands place. So this is equal to 5 1000s, which gives us 5,000. Now let's skip down to another page and let's just look at subtraction vocabulary. So today we're going to be looking at taking away. We're going to have a whole number and we're going to take something away from that whole number. So the vocabulary words that we could look for would be take away, minus, equal, solve, less, difference, remain, and difference. I see we wrote it twice, so let me go ahead and take that off of there. Here are some examples of how we could work that out. It could be if we have 5 and we're taking away 3, we X out 3 and we have 2. So let's look at the symbols that are being used. This is a minus sign and this is an equal sign. So 5 minus 3 equals 2. And of course, that's a very basic problem. Now we can look at the more complicated subtraction. And here you can see that we don't have a picture representation of it, but we know we can always draw it out based on our place value columns. So just as we talked about in our first slide, how that very first number is the ones and our next number is the tens, and our next is the hundreds, we can look at our slide here and know that 8 ones minus 1 1 equals 7. Now here in this particular one, they're borrowing, and we'll work on that in the next couple of lessons coming. But we're actually borrowing a 100 over to our tens, so we are able to subtract out 5 and get 7. But we're actually subtracting out 50 and getting 70 because of our place value. And we know that we only have 6 left because we took 1 away and we bring our 6 down. Now that's a lot of steps and we'll look at that later, but right now we just want to look for these keywords in the story problems that we're going to be working on today. Now when we were last together, I challenged you to think of how many story problems did you complete in a day that you didn't even realize, because remember, story problems are just real life events. So I'd love to hear from you sometime. Let us know what your story problems were, and hopefully you had a chance to look ahead at some of our lessons here today. So let's take a look. So we have 49 minus 11 equals, and we have to find out our answer. Now, as I told you before, the words are important, but the most important are 2 things. It is our numbers. Here we see it's 49 and 11. And sometimes you'll have more than 2 sets of numbers. And we're looking for what are the keywords that are going to tell us what we're going to do. So let's read our story problem. Mary Beth is plugging in stage lights backstage. She needs to plug in 49 stage lights. She plugs in 11 stage lights. How many stage lights does Mary Beth have left to plug in? Now, having left, that's one of our key phrases. So we know we're going to subtract. Needs to plug in 49 stage lights and needs to plug in 11 stage lights. So let's look and see if we can use our pen here to underline our important words. We know that 49 is important, right? And we know that 11 is important. And then we know that our most important words are have left, okay? So how do we do this? How do we begin to solve this problem when it's going across instead of up and down? So let's see if we can write it up and down, and we'll see if our pen stays. $49 minus what? 11. Oh, it went away. Let's see if we can get it to stay. Equals. So 9, it disappeared on me. All right, let's see if maybe, I think that will go away, or we will lose it if, let's try one more time. And if not, we will try another way, okay? 49 minus 11. We know that 9 take away 1 is 8. So our fancy pen is not going to work today. So we know that we can use just a piece of paper and that we can write our math problem out on a piece of paper, correct? So let's get a piece of paper. You can pause the video and go and grab a piece of paper. Any scratch paper is fine. We don't need anything fancy at all. So just grab a piece of paper and a pen, and let's write out our math problem going vertically, okay? So if we have 49 and minus 11, okay? We have 49, and it went backwards on us. That's okay. We can write it backwards. So we have 49 minus 11. Now, what is going to be the best way for us to solve our problem? Let's think about that. We could draw our dots. We could draw hash marks for each place value. What will be the best way to solve our problem? Well, why don't we draw hash marks? And let's see if that helps us. So let's do 9 marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 mark. Okay, so let's do, okay, and we're going to take away our 1 mark and count how many do we have left of our hash marks. Okay, and then let's count them together. You ready? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 ones left, correct? Because we are in the ones column. Yeah, we marked off our 1 hash mark, and we have 8. So now let's look at 4 minus 1. Now we could be as simple as put up 4 fingers and take away 1, and we know we have 3. Okay, so our answer is 38. So 38 what? 38 light bulbs, 38 left to plug in. we always want to label our answers. Now here our answer is labeled for us, but we need to remember to label it ourselves when we're just working on a paper, okay? So let's turn off our fancy pen and we are going to put 38. Very good, that's excellent. Now we can always check our work by using a calculator. If you have a calculator accommodation, and remember, you're in high school, you're old enough to know that you have an IEP and that you have accommodations. And if no one's ever talked to you about your IEP and accommodations, just ask your parent, your family members, or your school teacher, and they will be able to explain it to you. So let's have a calculator, and we know that we're going to subtract out. We're going to subtract out 49 minus 11. So let's put in 49 first, and we're going to use our minus mark. This is division, multiplication, addition. Here is going to be minus 11 equals 38. Very good. So you see, I just went online. I searched for an online calculator, found this one that was nice and big and easy to work with, and you can do the same. All right, very good. Let's look at our next problem. So our next problem is vertical as well. So we know that we can write our math problem vertically. Here we're horizontal. So let's read our math problem. Let's read our story. Ryan and Randy are stacking programs. Ryan stacks 38 programs and Randy stacks 24 programs. How many programs does Randy stack altogether? So program is not like a program on TV. A program is like a little booklet that tells us about the play, or it tells us about what the activities are for that particular day. So Randy stacked 24 and Ryan stacked 38. Ryan, how many more, remember that was one of our clues, how many more programs does Ryan stack than Randy? So let's go ahead and write out our math problem. Remember, you can use any paper that you have there. Okay. So we have 38 minus 24. So we just write it right on our paper. Okay. We're making very, very careful not to do this. You want to be careful that when you're writing it, that you are not getting your ones and tens columns mixed up. See how when I wrote this one, I'm not quite lined up like I am on the first one, right? There I know where my ones are and I know where my tens are. On this problem, it's a little harder for me to see, do I have it lined up? So we don't want to do that. We're just going to X right through that. We're going to go with where our ones and our tens are properly lined. So first we look at our ones column. What are we subtracting? What are our two numbers? Yes, 8 and minus 4. So we can do a couple of things. You can very quietly put out 4 fingers on one hand and 4 fingers on the other hand. And we can just quietly take away 4 fingers, and no one knows we did it. And we know we have 4 fingers left, right? The other way is we can make our hash marks, correct? Or you can make your dots. Now we'll get to the calculator in a little bit, but let's always try to do our work, work it out on paper before we go to the calculator. All right, so we have 4 and 4, and we know we have 8. And we take away 4, we know we have 4 left. So we have 4 ones or 4 tens? We have 4 ones. Now in our tens column, we have 3 minus 2, correct? We have 3 minus 2 in our tens column. So we can just quietly put 3 fingers on the table, and we can take away 1 finger, and we know we have 2 fingers left. Or you can put 3 dots on the 3, and you can X out one of those dots, and we know that leaves us 2 dots. Oh, that leaves us, did I make a mistake? I did. I should have X'd out how many dots? Yes, I should have X'd out 2 dots. So let's look at that again. So if I made 3 dots and I X'd out 2, how many dots do I have left? So 3 minus 2 is 1. Very good. So our answer is that Ryan stacked how many more? 14. He stacked 14 more programs than his friend did. Now let's check our work. We'll go to our calculator, and we're going to hit clear because our other answer is there, and it's the C that always clears out our calculator. So let's get rid of that. And let's look again at what our math problem is so we enter it properly. So we know that we need 38. And then where is my minus on here? This minus, see, this is addition, multiplication, minus, good, 24. Very good. What is our answer? We press equal to get our answer, and our answer is 14. So let's go to our math problem, and let's go ahead and finish that. Very good. Excellent. Let's go to our next one. Mary Beth is plugging in stage lights backstage. She needs to plug in 29 stage lights. She plugs in 0 stage lights. How many stage lights does Mary Beth have left to plug in? Now this one's kind of just really easy. If you were supposed to plug in 29 stage lights and you didn't do any yet, how many do you still have to do? You think that just in your head? You're right. You have to do 29 because you didn't do any yet. So can we find the number 29 on our chart here? Where is the number 29? So we have 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Very good. So then we can always still work out our problem. We have 29 minus 0, right? We have 29 minus 0. So 9 minus 0 is still, right, if you had 9 pieces of candy, but you didn't give any of your friends any candy, you still have how many pieces of candy? Very good. You have 9. And then we know under the 2 there are no numbers. So we just bring our 2 down. And we have 29. Very good. And then, of course, we can always check again on our calculator. We press clear. We put in 29 minus 0 equals 29. Very good. All right, let's see. You guys are on a roll. You're doing really well. Now, in this problem, we start to do carrying. So I think instead of doing carrying today, why don't we hold off on carrying and let's take a look at some addition problems that go up into the 50s as well. All right, and we can get into carrying at a later time when we have a few more manipulatives with us to help, okay? All right, so when we were together before, we did addition problems up to 50. So why don't we stretch ourselves a little bit and let's do addition problems up to 100. Excellent. All right. So here we have Randy is handling out. Oh, let's look at our vocabulary for our addition. Okay. So for our addition words, we're looking for altogether, add, sum, combined, increase, total, or in all. Now, there might be a few more words that we've missed and we didn't catch yet, but not a problem. We can always look at our story problem, use the words around it to help us learn, help us figure out, are we adding or subtracting? Okay, so here is our addition sign. Here's our equal sign. All right, let's go back to our lesson. Okay, Randy is handing out items to the students helping backstage. He hands out 56 nails and 32 safety pins. How many items, that means items is just a category word for things. How many items does Randy hand out all together? That's one of our key words. Now remember, you don't always see the special vocabulary and sentences to help you, but if we have 56 nails and 32 safety pins, how much is that all together? Now we can say 6 and we can count up 2 by going right to our ones column. So we can say 6, 7, 8. We counted 2 more, right? Or we can say 6 and have the number 2 up, 6, 7, 8. That's one way we can do it. Then we can do it our usual way where we put our hash marks by our numbers. So if we write 56, just a second, I had to remember that I have to write them backwards for you because the camera's being funny today. 56 minus 32. Oh, we're doing addition. I didn't change my little brain there. All right. Did I do it right? Yes. 56 minus 32. So we can do our hash marks right by the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did you make your hash marks? Good. Now what are we going to do? We know that we're doing 56 plus 2. So we're going to make 2 hash marks by our 2. Okay, does yours look like this if you used your hash marks? Very good. So let's count up all of our hash marks together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 6 plus 2 is 8. Now let's go to our tens column. We can write our marks there as well. So how many marks are we going to make for our first for 5? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for our number 3, we're going to make 3. Now, what do we do next? We have our hash marks, right? What do we do next? We need to what? Add them together. So let's count them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what number did you get? What was your answer? 88. Good. 88. So let's go ahead and put our answer in. 88. And we'll take up our calculator. We're going to clear our answer. We're going to put in 56. Now, which are we pushing here? Subtraction or addition? Addition. Plus 32 equals 88. Very good. All right, let's do one more addition problem, and then we'll let you go for today. Okay, let's see how we can do with this one. So we have Miss B's class is counting items for the play. They count 33 light bulbs and 61 programs. How many items do they count all together? So you tell me what we're going to do. Okay, we can just simply look at our problem and we can say that we have 3 and we're going to add one more, and that is 4. Good job. And then we can look at 3 plus 6. Now, if you're going to use your hands, you'll need both of them for this, or we can do our hash marks, or we can count up. So we can say 6. We put up 3 fingers and we can say 6, 7, 8, 9, right? We say the number 6, hold 3 fingers, 6, 7, 8, 9. Very good. We can always make our hash marks, or we can always pull items that we can count together. So let's look at our calculator. 33 plus 61. Let's clear our calculator. 33 plus 61. Let's see if we were right. 94. 94. Very good. All right, so I challenge you for the rest of the day and for tomorrow. Look at how many story problems you live every day. Kind of jot those down and maybe even talk to a family member about them. So glad that you were with us today. Please make sure that you join us again for our next math lesson. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy your time with family. Bye-bye.